You are listening to the Be Well United podcast, your new favorite resource for everything wellness. Hello, Wellness Tribe. I am Wellness Coach Krystal Rose here with the Stress Less Professor, Dr. Dana Rose Garfin, who is an assistant professor at University of California, Irvine. And she studies stress on the body and the mind, and has been doing so for the last 13 years. And she also has been practicing mindfulness and meditation for the last 20. So we have a mindfulness guru in our midst. Thank you so much for joining me again. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure
to be here.
Yes. So let's get started. We're going to be talking about mindfulness, and Dana, you're going to be sharing 5 tips for people who are looking to start a mindfulness practice. So first, Dana, what the heck is mindfulness?
So John Kabat-Zinn, who is a mindfulness researcher, he's from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. He's done many studies on the benefits of mindfulness and meditation, and he defines mindfulness as the awareness that comes from paying attention on purpose to the present moment, non-judgmentally.
Paying attention on purpose. I love that. And the first time I heard you say that quote, I don't know why, but that just like opened up my third eye, I guess, and it just like it makes a lot of sense with also being difficult. Like, have we not been paying attention on purpose? Mm-hmm. So can you explain like an example of what mindfulness would be? How do we pay attention on purpose?
Yes, so a lot of times we don't want to pay attention to what's going on because things are difficult, painful, boring,
redundant,
irritating. So, we perceive a lot of the conditions of our life, to be dissatisfactory. So the mind, has a tendency towards discouragement and distraction. Mm-hmm. But when we're doing that can also cause us to not pay attention to the beautiful things in life, mm-hmm. and the things that are special and pleasurable and joyful. And so, it can kind of put you in a loop where you're never really present, and you're unable to tolerate distress, and you are also unable to enjoy things that are beautiful.
So you get stress or get anxiety easily if mm-hmm. you are subjecting yourself to boredom. All these different mm-hmm. things, which makes a lot of sense, especially when I was working in the corporate world. Mm-hmm. I was a mess. Mm-hmm. And it's because it was the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. Same problem, same coffee pot, same this mm-hmm. and that. So yeah, I started checking out. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. And I've noticed that when practicing mindfulness mm-hmm. myself, I've been a lot more grateful. Yeah. So that's like a benefit as well?
Yeah, gratitude is definitely a benefit. And I think that actually the example that you talked about being in a corporate job is a perfect example. So
nothing against those who have corporate jobs, just for me personally.
If you're in a situation, a job, a relationship, any kind of situation that you really is dissatisfactory, if you're always checked out from it and you're just avoiding and ignoring the problem, you're never going to change it. Right. If, sometimes being present with deep discomfort and dissatisfaction and being aware that that's what is happening can actually create an opening where you can skillfully choose a different option to move forward.
And that's not, so you're not changing your environment, you're changing what's going on in your mind.
You're changing what's going on in your mind, you're changing your perception of it, which then can lead to an opening where you can make a decision to change something or not change something. Right. Or it could be, I don't like this job because I'm actually just really miserable.
Not challenged.
And there could be something you could do that has nothing to do with quitting your job. So it's not really, that there's one path towards changing things. It's just like it puts you in the driver's seat of what is happening in your life and how you want to be living your life.
I really like that, Dana, this whole concept, and I wish I was practicing or interested in mindfulness mm-hmm. back when I was in corporate. I think I would have been a lot happier of a person. Because for me, it's always like, if you don't like what you do, change it. And mm-hmm. that to me, that was like, we'll leave. Mm-hmm. But some people don't have that luxury to mm-hmm. just leave, or they have other responsibilities that makes them have to stay in a situation, or if we're in COVID, you have to stay indoors, or you don't have access to all these things that you used to find joy in, you have to your mindset's really the only thing you have that can save you from going nuts or getting stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So for those, now that everyone's extremely interested in mindfulness, we really sold it. How does one get into it? What are the steps, do you think, that someone who's in a beginner stage?
So I would say that the first step would be to develop a meditation practice.
Okay.
And the reason that I suggest meditation is because meditation, and actually a lot of people call it practice. So they say, oh, we're going to meditate, we're going to practice. And the reason that it's called practice is, it's repetitive. You do it over and over again. You don't have to do it perfectly. And it also trains your mind in tolerating whatever causes and conditions arise. And there can be a lot that arises. If you sit still and don't talk, and don't do anything for a minute, you will be amazed at what is happening internally. And so with meditation, we sit through that. We sit through anxiety, we sit through boredom, we sit through mind wandering, we sit through wanting to get up and do something else. And that experience trains the mind to be able to tolerate other causes and conditions of life in a more skillful way. So it really is setting the intention to be present with whatever arises, and it also will give you the experience of knowing deep within yourself that will change. Right? If you're even sitting in one place, you could be anxious one minute and have a worry, and then the next minute be remembering a joyful time with a friend or a lover, like all within the same 30-second experience. So meditation, to me, as a mindfulness practice, is really like the foundation to really get that experience. So I would say that the 5 steps.
And you said the practice, because some people, just to take a step back, for those who, a lot of people have rapid thoughts or feel like they can't sit still, so meditation won't be for them. But as you said, it's a practice, so you actually can build on it, right?
So I think that most people that could sit in an airplane could meditate. If you can sit in an airplane or church or in a car, you have the capacity.
You're totally right.
Sit still.
If you've gone to school, which most of us have, you've had to sit down for an hour or so, quiet time. You played the quiet game before if you were a kid.
I think that it's a common misconception that meditation is the absence of thinking. So it's actually paying attention to your thoughts, which usually our thoughts are in the driver's seat. We don't even know what we're thinking. So it's actually just paying attention to those thoughts as they arise. On purpose. Or paying attention to sadness. A lot of times sadness will arise or joy will arise, and we'll react from that emotion. We don't even know we're feeling that until we're halfway down the road of whatever action we're taking as a result of that. So, you don't have to sit in the absence of thought or the absence of emotion or the absence of anything, really. It's just noticing what is arising.
Now that we have the foundation, which is meditation, what would the next step be? Well, the official first step.
Yeah, so I think the first step is to set an intention that you want to become more mindful and that you're going to commit to a meditation practice. So I think that would be step 1, is just kind of having a conversation with yourself, setting the intention, and then showing up for yourself to do that.
That's really important, the showing up for yourself things. I think a lot of people fail to do that and then get hard on them or get down on themselves because they didn't follow through with something. So making that commitment, I'm doing this for myself. Yeah, important.
Yeah. And I think having patience, you might take a little bit before you settle into that commitment or see the results. So having a little kind of patience within that. A routine. So a lot of people find it helpful. Like a lot of people like to meditate in the morning, first thing in the morning. I had a meditation teacher that said, go to the bathroom, meditate. Do it before you brush your teeth even. So a lot of people like to do that. Some people like to meditate in the evening.
Was that simultaneously?
No, you can go to the bathroom, then you come and you meditate.
Okay.
Yes.
No judgment here.
Yeah, no judgment.
Who wants to do that? Okay.
I put after that though flexibility,
Okay.
because for some people, you could get busy in the morning or you sleep in, and then if you miss your kind of set aside time for meditation,
Right.
you won't do it.
Right.
And so it can be discouraging. So within that, I'll say flexibility. I mean, you can meditate for 5 minutes in the car. You can shut the door to your office on lunch or your work from home, I guess, or
That's a useful one to do
Yeah.
at lunchtime if you don't have any errands to run. I've done that at lunch, and it gives me life again
Yeah.
to handle this messy stuff I have to deal with at work.
yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so routine, but be flexible.
Routine, but be flexible. So
Okay.
step 2 is routine. Step 3 is flexibility
Got
and
it.
compassion for yourself.
Yes.
Allowing. The next is finding a teacher or a coach or a guide. So there's, especially right now during COVID-19, there's lots of resources available online. There's apps on your phone.
And there's a difference too. Because I noticed I like to do as much stuff for free as possible, but nothing compares to actually talking to someone. And the first coach you find, you may like or not like, so you can kind of shop around for a coach. But like, you're my meditation coach, and I have a few other ones too, and I've grown a lot faster, I think, or gone a lot deeper into a practice because I have a coach, not just having a one-way conversation with someone telling me what to do on an app or YouTube.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot more accountability.
Yes, accountability is a huge one.
And even, so I'll charge people, there's like an energetic exchange. So I'll do a lot of times free classes for students at the university, but I'll make them make a donation. So they have to either donate their time, they could donate blood to the Red Cross, they could make like a small donation or whatever they have, but they have to do something that they're giving the world to get the class. And just because there's like a little more of an energetic exchange or like a commitment.
That's a whole other topic we can talk about in
Yeah.
terms of energy exchange, because I used to give away a lot of my time freely and not get a lot in return, and also I'd be reluctant to pay. And when I started viewing money as energy, all of that shifted.
Yeah.
So my time is a lot more valuable because it's my energy. My money is also valuable as energy, but I can give it away easier because I'm getting a benefit. Like for you, I'm getting my mindfulness practice out of it. I'm getting a huge benefit. So when I see it as energy, it's a lot easier to have that exchange. Anyways, we can talk about that in a whole other podcast.
But there's a lot of low cost options online.
Yeah, there is. And if you follow Dana, you actually get to see the free options.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of free options. But you can find a teacher. And then the last is, I would say, social support. So especially if maybe this is kind of a change from what you were doing before. And that's, if you take classes or you can find a supportive community, that can be really helpful as well, because, if your friends are interested in doing mindfulness practices, and then you'll do it with your friends, and it can just be a way to connect and a way to support your own practice and support their practice as well.
100%. And it's, some people who are listening may have a friend or their close group is just like, no one's going to be doing that. You actually never know.
Yeah.
So you can put it out there. 'Cause I surprisingly have a lot of people who want to talk to me about stress and depression and all of these different things. So we've now connected on a whole nother level, and we have something else in common. And at the same time, I've made a whole new group of friends by going into these other support groups. So I definitely love that as part of your 5-step plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that seems pretty easy. So I think people who are listening can go ahead, and if there was any reluctancy, they can dip their toes in that. And the first thing was the foundation, which is meditation.
I would say meditation.
Perfect,
There's
perfect.
lots of different ways to meditate, but I would say experimenting with meditation
Is the key to getting started.
I would say it's the key,
Yeah, and think on purpose.
On purpose. Pay attention.
Pay attention on purpose.
To your own
There we go.
life.
Yes.
Your one precious human life. Pay attention to it.
And now, especially through COVID, I've realized it's so precious.
It's so precious. You don't want to miss this.
And you have a lot of time to meditate during COVID. No excuses.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much, Dana, for sharing your expertise and your wisdom in not only its both professional and personal experiences. So for those of you who are listening or watching and want to learn more about mindfulness, you can connect with Dana at thestresslessprofessor.com, or you can find her on Instagram. I'll put all of the handles somewhere in the podcast or video. Or you can go to BeWellUnited.com and find everything about Dana, so you can get to know her a little bit more and find out when she's giving out her classes. So thank you again, Dana, for coming in today, and see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.